going to look at our next two graphs together in the same video because they are both for categorical data. So the first is a bar graph. The bar graph can be horizontal like this one. It can also be vertical like the histogram that we've previously seen. And the bar graph is really similar to the histogram, except the bars are separated from each other because they are comparing separate categories. And so we see on this example, each of the categories has a name. The categories could be represented by numbers, but there is space between them because they are indeed separate categories. Our third graph then is the pie chart. And again, the pie chart is for categorical data, and this is where you want to compare parts to the whole. So there would be some data sets where there's not really a whole, like on surveys where you can pick more than one option. Then you can't compare parts to the whole because people voted more than one, so you don't have 100%, you have more than 100%. And both of these are for categorical data, which is qualitative data. And so we are asked the question, are college students likely to be morning people? And so we had looked at the hours of sleep before, and this time we're going to look at that variable, the Lark Owl variable. So that are they a morning person, night person, or neither? So again, you have an app in Blackboard, and it takes you here. This is by the Dana Center. You scroll down. Our first app that is listed here for us is for categorical data, which is that qualitative data. Click on the plus sign. It shows me that it will make a bar graph, so that's really good. That's what I want. And I'm going to go to the app in one moment there. It said here, use technology to create a pie chart. All right, so even though it shows me a bar graph, I want a pie chart. So click on the app. And it comes up. And we're using a data set from the textbook, but we don't want Enjoy Music, the one that it opens. So we want to go down here, Lark versus Owl. And so it loads the data set, and then over here it gives me a summary chart. So you can see this is kind of like the distribution table, but because it's categorical, instead of classes, it has categories. So they're either a morning lark, a night owl, or neither. And it shows me a bar graph automatically, but we were asked for a pie chart. So I have to just come down here under additional plots at the very bottom and pick pie chart. Ta-da, did a pie chart for me. So things that I want you to do then is to change the title and the subtitle. So down here underneath pie chart, it says modify the title caption. Okay, so the title is Morning Lark versus Night Owl. And you could do something different for the title, completely up to you. But you want something connected to your data so that it gives a little information. And then when you use pie chart, you should always use a subtitle. And because the pie chart uses percentages, it does not communicate how many people were surveyed. And that needs to be said. So up here at the top in the summary, I see that there was a total of 253 people surveyed. And so the subtitle, we typically use N equals, and in this case, the answer is 253, and that was students. And so this way, then, if somebody needs to calculate, well, how many people fit in each category, because they don't have the little summary data over here, they can do that math of taking 19% of the 253, or 64.4% of the 253. So the question that we were asked in the PowerPoint is, are students likely to be morning people? And looking at our pie chart, the answer is definitely no. So our morning lark here is our smallest category, and so our college students are not morning people at all. We're going to continue because we're working in the app. So let me go to my PowerPoint again, and then we'll be right back to the app. So the next question is, how do students classify their alcohol consumption? So when we're asked about how they classify it, we remember at the beginning, we decided this was a qualitative variable because their categories were things like abstain, they were light drinker, moderate drinker, or heavy drinker. So we're going into the same app. So from the Lincoln Blackboard, we are staying in categorical data for this. So at the top, I'm using data from the textbook, and for this one, I'm using the alcohol use. So looking at how they use alcohol. So here are the categories: abstain, light, moderate, and heavy. And this time we were supposed to create a bar graph. So we have this bar graph already created for us. All the categories are there. And it says you can change the title. So let's do that. So modify, include the title. So it's not a terrible title, obviously, with the sleep study alcohol use. Alcohol use. We could put in a subtitle. So we could put in that 253 students again. You don't have to with a bar graph because we could add up the heights of the bars and we could see that. So it's not as hidden as it is with a pie chart where you definitely need to include that subtitle. I ask that when you sketch this into your notes that you include how many people are in each category. So again, it's kind of like the histogram. If you hover over this, it will tell you exactly how many people, and it also tells you what percentage were in each category. We again have that summarized for us up here in the frequency table and off to the left in that chart so that we know how high each of these scores are. So our next question in our PowerPoint is create a bar graph to show the class years of the college students in the study and make sure they're in appropriate order. Write us down to summary. So we're right back in our same app. And I'm actually going to see if I can open it in a different tab because I want us to look at two things side by side then. So it's opening. I'm using data from the textbook. I'm using specifically their class year in the sleep study. And so it creates this bar graph. And here I see that it's using 1, 2, 3, 4, which we have coordinated with freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So it does have them in order. We could change the title, but the title is not terrible. And it suggests in the PowerPoint we write a sentence. So more sophomores participated than any other group would be a sentence that would describe what we're seeing. And then we are asked, is there evidence of underage drinking at the college in this study? So use your previous grasp and existing knowledge to answer this question. Write a few sentences to explain. So looking at my two graphs, which are in the two different tabs here. Here is the class year. And this shows us that we had 47 freshmen participate and we had 95 sophomores participate. And as we're thinking about what we know about college students, we think that traditional students is a year after high school. So this first category, they are probably 18 or 19. And the second category, they are probably 19 and 20. So 95 plus 47 is 142 students that would be underage. Junior year, they're probably 20, 21, so we might consider them of age, and senior year, they would most likely be of age. So then if we look back at the drinking, we only had 34 that said they abstained from drinking altogether. So we have 142 students who are underage, 34 abstaining from drinking. There is definitely some evidence of underage drinking happening on this campus. Now, whether they're all in the abstain or light, we don't know. But even those two categories together here would not add up to the number of students that we're perceiving to be underage. We're just citing there's evidence, though, because we don't know that 100% of the students who participated are traditional college students. So there may be some freshmen and sophomores who are not traditional college students and would be of age to legally drink. But there's definitely some evidence of some underage drinking going on.